Hello guys, this is me Ari. Today we'll be checking about how to write and execute program one from Web Lab. So to do so, we need requirements that is PHP, browser, terminal, and then editor. For the exam, we'll be using VIM or VI editor, but here for this demo, we'll be using Sublime Text to make the video smaller. So let's start by checking whether the PHP is existing in our system. We used to use this command, PHP version. You can see anything above 6 is recommended because we need to create in a built-in web server. We'll use PHP command to do so. So then I recommend you guys to create a folder and then write programs inside that. So you will be able to host that particular folder and then access those files and through the web browser and then show the output to the teacher as well. So to create a folder, we use mkdir command and then I'll give the folder name. Go inside the folder. Now you guys have to use the command vim or vi and then file name .html if it's an HTML file or PHP. If you click enter, the file will open like this. You have to start writing inside this. But for this one, I'll be using Sublime. So here I'll create a file. I'll name it as prg1.html. I'll save that file. It's in this folder. Now there's a shortcut to do it. When you type HTML, if I type HTML and then press tab, this will come like a temp boilerplate will come. But you can't do the same in the lab exam. So for making this video short, I'm doing the shortcuts. I'm going to write the I'm going to write title of this particular uh, web, web page, that is calculator using JavaScript. Then in the body, I'm going to write an h1 tag. Uh, I'm going to use inline styling, so I'll write the styles here itself. For text align, I'll tell it to place it in center. Then I need color. Color I'm going to use red. Then close this off, and then my heading will be simple calculator using JavaScript. Now I'm going to use a tag called a center tag. This will place all the content inside the center tag in the center of the web page. So we are going to use table. So I'll initialize the table and then tr for table row. Inside this table row, I'm going to use table head. This will be the heading for that particular row or column. So I'll take first number, then td is table data. So inside this will be taking the values, the numbers. So I'll initialize it. I'll initialize the input tag. Then I'll tell the type as number, and then I'll tell the name as num1, and id is id is num1 as well. Uh, then we'll go to the second row. Here we'll do the same. I'll just copy it from just copy from here. I just have to replace this is 2, and then I have to set this as 2 and this as 2. So it's the same. Now we have to create one more table row. In this table row, we'll be give showing the users the buttons, operation buttons, that will be plus, minus, multiplication, and division. So we'll be using that. To create that, we need a heading first. So we use th table header, and then we'll set the call span, that is columns span. The size is 2, so we'll take 2 columns as the size, and then we'll start giving the input. We'll start defining the input tag type is button. So because it's a button, we don't need the name, or we'll just set the value will be plus for the first button, and then we are going to write as we are going to write we are going to write javascript javascript here. So we need to call this particular function when the button is clicked. So we are using this on click function. Then we are going to like trigger a particular operation, that is perform op. Then we are going to say this dot value. So what this dot value does is, the value that is here will be taken as the argument here, or will be taken as the input for this particular uh, function. So that's what it does, and then it closes. We have to use this one. We have to close it. It's a self-closing tag. If you don't do it, there's no problem. But if you get some error, try to just close the input tag. So we'll do the same. We'll just copy it, paste it, paste it, paste it 4 times. We have 4 buttons. I'm just going to change the values. This as minus, and this as multiplication, and then this as division. So next, we need one more table row to define our outputs. That will be a result, and then a last error is error tag error row, where if we divide the if our number is divided by 0, then we have to display that one, which will be by default hidden. So I'll write the heading first for the results. Write results, and then I'll define the data row. So here, input type will be number, and then result name will be res, and then id equals res, small res. So we'll be using these to update using JavaScript, and then make this particular input tag as read only, so people can't put values inside this. And then this part is done. Now we have to write the error part. So I'll set this tr. I'll set this tr as err, and then style visibility is set to hidden. So by default, this will be hidden, and then so I'll use something called as I'll define the header for this one, that is err error, and then td for table data. Then I'll write the keyword. I'll write the words, that is error 0 is not divisible, and then I guess the HTML part is over. Now we have to write our JavaScript part. So JavaScript is always recommended to write before the body tag, ending of the body tag, or initialize the script. To write JavaScript, we need something called a script tag. Yeah, so that the definition is not needed. Type text slash JavaScript is not needed. Um, Now we have to create the function. So here the function is function perform op, and it'll take op, which is these this dot value will be the op. Then I'll just start uh, creating variables. That is n1 will be the value that we get from the input tag 1. That's this one, and then the n2 will be this one. I'll start writing it quick. So document dot get element element by id. Uh, what is the id that I've given here? Num1. Have to mention the same dot value will give us the value that has been typed in this particular input. And then have to copy the same, paste it. I just have to change these values to 2, and then here as well as 2, and then document dot get element by id. You have to set the error row as hidden first, so you don't want to show them before they get before they create any error. So visibility equals hidden. I have to put this in quotes and then close it. Then I'll create a result variable, so which will be storing a result. I'll initialize it as 0. Then if op equals to in quotations I write plus, sorry, I write plus, and then here uh, result is set to num1 will, for example, let's consider a condition. User enters 5 here and then 10 here, so n will be 5, and then we just have to do the operations between them. So the result will be stored in the variable result. We use else if to check the condition. Else if here op equals minus, when then we just have to do the negative operation, that is result equals n minus 1, sorry, n1 minus n2. Yeah, I hope this is visible for everyone. Now if op equals to we're going to check for multiplication with result equals n1 multiplication, and else we have to check first for the condition here, that is um, if 0, we have to check if n1 is 0 and n2 is 0. So if n1 not equal to 0 and n2 not equal to 0, only then we have to allow them to multiply, sorry, divide, else we just activate this particular error message. So result equals n1 by n2. So if the upper condition fails, then we just have to enable that hidden to visible. Document dot get element by id error, then style dot visibility equals visible, and So at the ending, we just have to submit. We just have to return the value to this particular input tag. So we do that by document.get element by id, and then we set it. We give the id as res dot value equals result. And I guess that's it. So we'll check out the output. To check out the output, let's minimize this one and go back to our terminal. I asked you people to check whether PHP is existing for this particular reason. We're going to initialize a web server which is already inbuilt in PHP. So to start the server, we have to be in the folder that has to host that particular the server will be hosting that only that particular folder. So nothing out of it will be hosted on that particular server. So we need to select a folder that has to be hosted. That's why I told we have to be in that particular folder. Now, PHP minus or dash S capital S local host and colon define a port. Don't use 80 because if you already have installed something called as like a web server like Apache or Nginx, then the port 80 will be already being used will be used by the Apache and Nginx. So you shouldn't use them. Use something like 3000 or something. So you should get a message like this. Developer server started at localhost 3000. You open the tab, then localhost 3000. So then you will get this sign, this error says that you started the server correctly. So you use the root, and then you tell what the file name. Just put the file name. Yeah. So now we'll try to see. We'll try to get some outputs. That was 10 plus 10 is 10, 20. So I'll change the upper one to 5. 5 minus 10 will be minus 5. Yeah, because calculation is like that. So 10 minus, you get 5. Then 2 5s will be 10. 100 by will be 10. So I got all the 10 values, that is weird. So now I'm going to try a zero error thing. I'll use 0. We should get error 0 is not divisible. So this is the explanation for program 1. Thank you for watching, and see you soon.